First things first, I need to remove that swim platform. That's definitely going to be in my way the whole time. If I just take it off now, I'll just avoid any headaches in the future. If you had a smaller one, it might not be a big deal, but that one's just over the whole thing, and I don't want to just keep hitting my head on that repeatedly, so I'm going to pull that off first. Next, I'm going to remove the hydrofoil on the top of the lower unit. I don't think every boat doesn't have this. Again, I'm not a boat mechanic, but I've seen a lot of different ones, and I noticed that this seems to be sort of an aftermarket piece. So next I'm going to remove this hydrofoil. This one's held on with 7/16 nuts and Phillips head machine screws. There's a 3/8 Allen head. I'm using this tool for it. It's a really not a common size in a household set. My regular T-handle set stops at 5/16. This was the next size up. So you really want to make sure you have one of these before you start this job. I had to go digging around my electrician's tools in my basement to find this because it wasn't with my regular automotive tools. So. Solid now. Next step is to drain the oil. Now if you look at the bottom of this, you can just barely see the drain plug right there. It's a flathead screw. We're going to loosen that first. Then there's a vent hole on the top right here. So we're going to loosen the drain first. A little will trickle out, but once we open that vent, that's how it'll drain. Most of the pieces of equipment are like this. Again, I'm not a boat mechanic, but I work on a lot of other things, and that's pretty common to have something, an arrangement like that, especially on a tractor. Wind's not helping. Next, up underneath where the trim tab was, there's another Allen that is 5/16. So we're going to remove that next. That's where the trim tab was. You can see that Allen 5/16. Next, I'm going to take out two 5/8 bolts on the bottom of the outdrive unit. These two right here. I am going to use this electric ratchet. It's not super powerful, so I'm not too worried about it. I wouldn't use a really strong air tool or anything like that, just in case the aluminum gets brittle or something like that. So I'd be very careful with that, with using power tools. So next up, I'm going to take off the very back top bolt for the lower unit, which is right here. You can see it right there. That's a 5/8 bolt. The two side bolts we're going to leave for last because those are the easiest to get to. I'm going to let them hold the weight of the lower unit while I remove all the other bolts. Those will obviously come off pretty easy, so I figure we'll do those last, and that's how we're going to simultaneously hold and not drop the unit. Now I'm down to the last two side bolts. I'm just going to find something soft to put under the lower unit. That way if it does drop suddenly, it won't, hit the concrete and shatter the aluminum. This is what I came up with. So it's a plastic tilt with two fender bumpers, which if you have a boat you probably already have those, and then a coil of rope, and then just for good measure, that yellow plastic thing is actually a hand miter box for a handsaw. I just happen to have it in my garage. So I think those things, if it does fall suddenly, will protect it from hitting the concrete and shattering. Probably overkill, but just being safe. a few threads still on the stud. You can't loosen them anymore because of the clearance up top on that top fin. So I'm just going to give this a little jiggle and hopefully it comes down smooth for us. And as you can see, it did settle just a little bit. Now those last couple threads are all that's holding that lower unit still on. I went ahead and put a rag down on that tub too so I don't get any extra oil or anything all over my fenders. And there it is. And it's been out of the water so long, there's a nice spider's nest in there too, so clearly it needed to be freshened up.